Hey Bricks, what blessing should I use for my attack champion? Which blessing should I select for my defense-based champion? What blessing should I use for my tank? What about my arbiter, my speed booster? Which blessing should I select? In this video, I'm about to put your mind at ease and finally help you decide which blessing is best for these champions that occupy these different roles. There is no possible way to give each blessing for each champion we have in Raid Shadow Legends. It's a lot. So all I'm going to do in this video, or try to do, is to compress it to their roles. Tanks, debuffers, attack champions, your nukers, and of course your revivers and healers. So that's the 4 criteria I'll be looking for. CC champions could also go as speed boosters and all that. So I finally spent time to take a look at the blessings, read all of them, tried my best to understand them, because like I said, all this content is kind of new to us and we are learning it along as we go. And as we do more tests, we'll always change things up. So this is all from my basic knowledge of this. Don't judge me too harshly, but as a player who has been playing Raid for what, 2 years plus now, almost 3 years, I think I have a good grasp of what I read and where I'm going to be using these champions and their blessing. So if you're kind of clueless about it, or you're kind of confused what to do, this will guide you. Why is this important to do? Is because if you do make a mistake, just like you do make a mistake with your masteries, you have the option of resetting it one time for free, right? If you head over to your masteries right there, you have the option to reset your masteries for free once right there. See, for free. The same thing applies to your blessings. If you do apply the wrong blessing by taking wrong advice from me, you can always reset it once for free. Let's say if you decide to change it in the future. But after you reset it for free, the next time you will have to spend 200 gems to change your blessings to the same divinity. Let's say you're changing from this one to this one. It will cost you 200 gems. But if you're changing from a different divinity to a different one altogether, it will cost you 300 gems and so on. So that's why this is kind of a big deal. This is not something players are taking lightly. They're asking a lot of questions which one to choose. And because there's a lot to read, a lot of players do not have the patience. Just like you tell players, don't blindly copy masteries, right? You tell players, don't blindly go to anybody's masteries and just copy them just as it is. You need to know why that this player is selecting this mastery, the timely intervention, instead of going towards the offense tree. Find out. So, but they don't find. I just say, okay, Bricks did use the physics and bold. He did divine this timely intervention. Therefore, I'm gonna do the same. That's not how Raid Shadow Legends works. Your physics might be better built for offense 3 right here because you use her in the Hydra. I don't. So that's what little differences that should also apply. The same knowledge you apply to your mastery should also be applied to this whole blessings. So that's, I'm putting out disclaimers here before we even get into this video, because I do not want to be flamed from making people choose the wrong divinity. But I'll tell you right now, from my personal experience and spending time on it, I have come up with, I think, 5 or 6 blessings that I'm going to use. Out of how many blessings do we have currently in the game? There is like, how many? 6. I come up all of them. I just ignored all of them. I came up with only 5 or 6 that are best used on all your champions. So how did I slim my list down so much? Is because I totally ignored any blessing that said you can only use it in the arena. That's number one thing. Any blessing that says it only works in the arena, I totally ignored it. So it might be good for end game players who are pushing in gold 5 or platinum arena, but for this video I did not include it at all. So if I don't mention that blessing, don't say it's bad or anything like that. No. So that's one thing to note. I totally ignored blessings that are useful in the arena or only used in the arena. All right, I've delayed enough. I've given one of my disclaimers. Let's get straight into it right now. The first blessing that I want to take a look at from the light divinity, 4 damage dealers. Now, 4 damage dealers is lightning cage. Lightning cage, where it is, I did write it down. So I didn't group them based on blessings for rares, blessings for epics, blessings for legendaries. No, I'm just gonna say the blessings I found useful from light divinity. So if you have a rare champion, you might want to choose something else. But if I don't mention Iron Wheel, it's because it's trash. But if you have an epic champion, you have no choice but to select it. Fine. So Lightning Cage is for a legendary champion, and what does it do? It adds some lightning orbs. It adds extra damage basically to your Nuka already. The main thing, besides the whole lightning orb and all that jargon that you have to read and understand, the attack of 500 is one criteria that always makes me think this is good for an attack-based champion. And if you see that it gains, where is it again? Another 500 attack right there, which is 1000 total attack. Imagine your Nuka who is already at 4000 attack gaining an extra 1k attack. Yes, that is one criteria that I see right now. Then add all the other extra stuff that is going on at 4-star blessing right now. You can see 25% crit damage being added to your Nuka. That's why I say this is awesome for a Nuka. Why? It's not because of all the extra lightning orbs that are happening, 2% this, max HP 1%. No, it's because of the amount of attack and crit damage that is put into this one stat. That's why I will probably put in on my damage dealer that is a legendary champion. A Foley, a Candrophon, Bigon, you name them, because of the raw stats. Now I said the extra bonus is something cool, I guess, but I didn't select this stats. I didn't select it because of all the lightning orb that are happening. I selected it because of the 500 and 25% crit damage right there, even 100 and 1k HP right there. That's number one. Let's move on. Let's not waste too much time. The next one for a damage dealer that I found useful, I'll jump around a lot, I'm still on damage dealers right now, is Phantom Touch. That's from the Dark Divinity. Phantom Touch is a rare one. It's rare, so it can be used on epic champions. It can be used on I wouldn't say legendary champions, but there's a reason why I mentioned this one. So it's something you could look out for if you don't find any of this useful, because I don't think I mentioned any of this. I think they are trash. Maybe in another video we'll list out the most trashiest blessings right there. So why did I select this one? It has a chance of inflicting bonus damage. So this is also for an attack based champion. Maybe a epic champion can also use this one because of the amount of bonus damage that is coming in. The bonus damage is proportional to this champion's attack. So high awakening bonus is also available. 500 bonus, 300 bonus for epics, or 300 for just rare champions. Who uses attack based rare champions anyways? Cold Heart, okay. Sorry, I spoke too soon. So Cold Heart could benefit greatly from this one because of the bonus damage that is coming in, and 15% extra crit damage for your Cold Heart, and extra 10% if it's a legendary champion. I forgot to add this to the disclaimer. If you have a clan boss team, Painkeeper, Manita, whatever, Demeter, be careful which blessing you put on them. Any blessing that adds extra speed, I'm talking about if you have a speed tune team already working for you for Ultra Nightmare clan boss, everything is working smoothly right now. If you begin to add blessings, you will add 5 speed. You will add some blessings that add turn meter increase. Be careful which blessings you select. Right now, this blessing says at the max level it will add 5 more speed. So if this is for a Painkeeper or for one of those champions you use, maybe even what's her name now, Frozen Banshee. Yes, that's a champion we need in good defense and attack stats to do some damage, maybe poison. If you put this blessing on her and this add 5 speed to her stats, it will throw your run off course. So when your clan boss run is failing, know that it's because of the blessing you added that caused it. You might need to re-gear your champion to come down a little bit of speed to accommodate for this speed you're adding to the champions. So that's another disclaimer I forgot to add right there. All right, I've talked about this blessing now for epic or rare champions that can be used. I've talked about one for legendary champions. So I think we're covered in terms of damage, right? But no, there's one more blessing I wanted to add, or 2 more blessings for damage dealers that you could look at for. It's War. It's on the War divinity, and it is called Soul Reaper or Soul Reap. Soul Reap is awesome because of it's a legendary one, and it does so much damage. It ignores any buff on the enemies, and it's really, really great to use on your champion. If they don't die after Soul Reap, they will have a True Fear placed on them. So it's one that you should read and see what it does. It actually has a nice animation along with it also, and one of those cool ones that I want to use on a legendary champion to do damage. So that's one. It kind of finishes off your enemies with a Reaper, and it's a cool one right there. So legendary champions can use that one. The last one for damage dealers that I wish to mention is from the Chaos Divinity, and it is called Crushing Rend. Chaos Divinity, Crushing Rend. So each round, a number of this champion hits will ignore a percentage of the target's defense. Well, that's just one I just added just to make sure that something is available if you do not find the other ones appealing for epic champions at least. So you could use this one. 500 attack right there, 400 more attack added, and crit damage also added for you, also for damage dealers. So now that we are done with damage dealers, let's move on to the next level of champions, which are tanks. Which divinity works for tanks? I'm talking about Vogot. I'm talking about there's a question that was asked of me, and I think the Brogni is a tank. Osoga the Warcaller, that's a tank. So which divinity works for them the most? Let's head over there and select. I'll pick only 1, 2, 3, 4. Also 4 divinities that are best for tanks. The first one is from the light divinity, or light divinity, yes. And then you have to select the blessing called Miracle Heal. You say, why am I putting this on a champion? This will be for most likely an epic champion. Yes, maybe an epic or even a legendary champion can have this, but it is most likely an epic or a rare champion that you want this on because of the amount of heal that is coming in right there. So it does have a lot of HP though, right? When I selected it on this champion, I saw some HP stats. Why am I not seeing it on Brogni now? Let's see again. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, I did see some HP stats right there. So maybe it depends on the champion, it works differently. But I saw 5,000 HP, which caught my eye. Now you're building your champions with 65k, 70k. You're trying to get to 100k HP as much as possible on your Vogots even. This is one of the ways to get there faster. So 5k HP plus 15 HP plus 1,000. Just a lot of HP being added right there. So that's what caught my eye to this. It's not like the extra things that are going on interest me. No, it's the amount of HP that is being added. So for tanks, rare, epics, they might benefit from this amount of raw HP being added to them. So that's one I wanted to mention for tanks. Then for the next one from the for tanks is also called from the dark. What do you call it now? Yes, okay, from the dark divinity. Word of the Fallen. That's the next one I wrote down there, and it's the, is it the last one? Yes, Word of the Fallen. It's a legendary one for legendary champions, so maybe I could put this on my legendary champion Vogot. The main thing that caught my eye on this one is also the 5k HP, but it does you do benefit from all this other stuff that I do not want to read right now, because you do have stacks, bone armor stacks, which protects your allies from damage at the start of each round, decreases the damage received by 20%, and a total of another 5k is added right here again, and a total of about how many percent of damage can you reduce? 30% of damage can be reduced from this bone armor stacks that you receive from this blessing. So that's one for damage dealer. I mean, one for tanks who need a lot of HP and defense to survive, and they can just troll the enemies with this blessing. All right, the third one is from the war, and it is called Faultless Defense. Faultless Defense right there is a rare one, which is also useful on epic champions, and it also has 5k HP right there. Basically, if it has HP, I go for it, and it's not restricted to arena or anything. So check out the other stuff that it can do for you, but I'm only interested in the HP and the other stats that is added. 10% damage reduction per hit, up to 35% damage reduction. This champion will receive less damage from each subsequent hit. So this is actually useful on tanks. So you could also put this on a normal champion, I guess, but I wanted to see this amount of HP on the tank, not on a damage dealer. All right, the last one for damage for tanks is Chaos. It's from the Chaos Divinity, and it is called Polymorph. You didn't think I'll skip out on Polymorph, did you? Come on now. Polymorph, we already know, ship them. I'm not even going to talk about this one. Almost everybody in Raid Shadow Legends will be selecting this divinity, especially for the arena or PvP content when you're not going against bosses at least. So a lot of legendary champions will be selecting this one, at least for the waves, just to troll them. But at last we'll eventually get bored of shipping champions because we have stun, we have provoke. Why do we need to ship them? Doesn't make any sense to me. I will not be, this is not my first priority when I get a legendary. It's not my first priority. Most people just want to see it happen and have that hype happening in the battle that they are shipping champions. Nah, I like to go in there, control them, nuke them. I don't want to be there and try to change what they can do. Instead, I want them to hit me so they can get retaliated on. All right, the last one is also Brimstone. If you don't want to ship them, of course, you can always go this route. It does have the high HP and extra HP right there that can be added to your champions, and accuracy 50 added to this one right there, and it's not restricted to only arena or anything. So check out Smite. It does extra damage also. The last one, or no, not the last one. Yeah, that's the last one I have for you. Healers. Healers go along with CC champions and revivers, right? So I'll group all of them together and say, for my healers, my arbiters, my what's her name now, Lady Kimi, I most likely will give them this one called Intimidating Presence. Intimidating Presence is the most OP one in Raid Shadow Legends right now. So that's the most OP presence for legendary champions. But you can put it on any champion. It doesn't necessarily need to be healers or revivers. And most of these ones I mentioned can be interchanged, except those ones that are attack based, right? The HP ones can be interchanged to others. But this one, I feel like I will be putting it on my speed boosters, my revivers, my healers. Not because I need them to do anything special, but because of they are most likely in every arena battle. They're most likely my leader champion in almost every team. So that's why they will be adding this extra aura. Now there's a difference between intimidating presence and commanding presence that you should know. The commanding presence is one that you also falls into this category for healers and revivers. Now if I go right there, where is it? I think it's under war. Yes, commanding presence. It works just like intimidating presence. Right there at the end, you say strengthen your team's aura by 35%. This is for epic champions, Gogorab and all that. So probably you want to put this on a Gogorab, but for intimidating presence, you really want it on a legendary because it has, or you can only put it on a legendary because it does have that strengthen by 35%, but it also weakens the enemy's aura by 20%. That's what makes it so special. So you see this a lot in the PvP arena, and I'm glad that this was not restricted to only working in PvP. Now, I'm sure a lot of teams in Doom Tower or other difficult content doesn't bring a big aura or something that you want to go against, but it's just better for PvP, I guess. So I guess I covered damage dealers, tanks, healers. Healers go along with debuffers. Most people will want to go with the one that adds a little bit of accuracy to their debuffers. I don't see a reason to build your debuffers with enough accuracy, so you don't need blessing to add a little bit of accuracy for them. So anyone that talks about the arena, I totally ignore it. For example, my Foley will not be built with a blessing that says only arena. My Candraphone will not be built with a blessing that says arena. Why? Because the arena is easy enough for us to beat content without building champions specifically for it. So a champion that is used in the arena can be used everywhere else. That's where I always want to build it. If you're not quite sure about your blessing to use on which champion, it's totally fine to leave it blank, to leave it empty. You don't necessarily have to select a wrong one and then later reset it for free though. So remember, you have one free reset if you do make a mistake or selecting the wrong one, and then the next time it will cost 200 for the same divinity, and if you switch to another divinity, it will cost you 300 gems or more. All right, that's all I have for you. That's my basic understanding of blessings. I've called out the key ones that I will be using personally on my account. If this does not apply to you, if this knowledge does not translate well to you, I understand. You can go out there and select a different blessing altogether and totally ignore everything you heard in this video. So I just stated the ones I'll be using for my damage dealers, my tanks, my healers, and my debuffers. Let me know in the comments below if I missed out on anyone, if I didn't take a look at it well enough, I'm always looking forward to your suggestions below and always happy to learn from you also. Hit that like button if this video helps you out to select your blessings in Raid Shadow Legends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.